Lowe's knows you've got a job to do, and we help get it done. With the MyLowe's Pro Rewards program, eligible members save more with volume discounts on qualifying orders through a quote of $2,000 or more. Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Offer can't be combined with any other discount, contract, and/or special pricing. Exclusions, more terms, and restrictions apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's KFI AM 640, and you're listening to The Conway Show on demand on the iHeartRadio app. Thank God.
It's Timmy time!
That's your ass! Timmy! Wow! Timmy! Wow! He's a little lamb.
And he knows a lot.
He's always having such a lot of fun, Timmy! Wow! Little lamb with a lot to learn.
Very good. KFI AM 640, it's Conway Show. Frank Caliendo's with us. Frank, how are you, sir?
I am doing fantastically average. How's that?
That is great, man. What a treat this is. I'm a major, major fan, and I rarely get excited when we have guests on the show. We're on from 6 to 10 p.m., and I always tell Bellioke if she can please book most guests for like 10 after 10. and I guess some people find that offensive, but what the hell? But I loved watching you on Fox over there with the guys on a Sunday morning, because it was watching five guys talk about football is great, but when there's humor involved, then that means you add a whole new element, a whole new audience.
Yeah, but it's the thing about those tape sketches, and I was there for 9 years.
Wow.
I think it changed last year, but Rob Riggle was there for like maybe 9-10 years after that. So, and Kimmel was there before. But the tough thing is that most of the funny stuff that happens on the set between Terry Bradshaw and those guys is mistakes, right? Something goes wrong. Terry's like, I can't believe I just screwed up my own name again. Terry Bradshaw. I get myself confused with the William Shakespeare, the bard. This is the bard's tale. And here's a bard's tale. My grandpappy used to clean up my bathroom. You're like, what are you even talking about? But I would be on tape. And when you're on tape, sometimes you just know it's not going to be a good one. Right. You're waiting for the afterward, and how they are they gonna react? So it became this thing where Terry Bradshaw would have a catchphrase, and his catchphrase was "not funny, Frank," and it was as though Simon Cowell on American Idol couldn't come up with an analogy. It was like not funny, not funny, not funny, not NOTFUNY, not funny, Frank. So yeah, it was great because then I was always around Hall of Fame football players and and stuff like that. So,
but did any of them get pissed off? I mean, because sometimes the impression I would think either Madden or Bradshaw would be the most likely to go. This is done.
Yeah, well, Terry I think used to get upset about it at the beginning a little bit. He had to put up with Kimmel, and Kimmel would just crush those guys. And the thing about Jimmy is he was adversarial. I was cherubic. I had the chubby cheeks, and that would make it work a little bit. That I was just I look like Cartman from South Park doing impressions. I guess this is pretty good now, George W. Bush. So. That stuff always kind of worked, but they told Terry it's like wrestling. He's like, "Oh, does that mean I'm going to wear a big hat and body slam people?" No, it's a joke where you're messing with each other. So Madden didn't like me for a while, but I made him. I talk about this, and you should talk about this in my act that I made his grandkids laugh. It was like a light bulb went over his head. Like, I get it
cool.
now. That kind of a thing. Then when I went to ESPN, Gruden didn't know how to take me. And I met him finally. He's like, so you're the guy who talks like me, huh? I'm like, how'd you figure that out, man? He's like, where are you from? And I Googled where he was from. So I said that. I was like, Sandusky, Ohio. He's like, really? I'm like, no. He's like, good, because you were blowing my mind, man. But I become friends with Gruden now. He'll text me,
That's great.
Yeah, he would text me at it's so funny. He would text me at 3 a.m.
Wow.
Which is like lunchtime for him, right? He's like, I got to get up. I asked him one time, what time do you go to bed? About 7:00 p.m., man.
Wow.
But
I especially love the Madden stuff that you did around Thanksgiving with the buffet and all the food.
Oh, you
and
love that?
everything.
Because I got sick of it. After about the 12th time, I go, hey, stuff a chicken into a duck into some other animal, and let's see what kind of word we can make up here. People always like it. People still, people still bring that up to me now. It's kind of funny about how
it was great. Now, so you grew up in Wisconsin. Were mom and dad not in favor of you trying to get into showbiz?
No, my dad was a minor league baseball player.
Oh,
and so he knew, you kind of. I didn't know what I was going to do. My dad didn't care. Like grades in our house were interesting because my dad would say, "Hey, I got C's. Nothing wrong with a C."
Right.
That's nothing like. Some of the kids I knew, like if they didn't get A's, they'd get swatted at or something like that. My dad's like, hey, a C's good. C's average. You could be average. You can do a lot with average.
You know what? My dad was the same way. My mom was a little, a stickler for grades, but my dad was like, look, my dad in high school had like a C- or a D+, average. And he says, he goes, look at the house I got, he goes, hey, look at this.
There's truth that if you listen to people like Gary Vee and stuff like that, they'll tell you that, school isn't set up to be, for the entrepreneurs and people who are going to be, outside the box. I have a funny story about your dad.
Is that right?
Yeah. I was doing Hot in Cleveland. I was guest starring on Hot in Cleveland. Steve Lawrence was on. Betty White was there, and
right.
Valerie Bertinelli was, part of the cast and all that stuff. And there were some other people on as well. And I'm leaving to go out the door, and there's a doorman. There's never been a doorman at the stage the whole week. There's a doorman. He's maybe 5'5" or something like that. I'm like, what's going on here? And he's kind of acting really slow. I'm like, God, the guy looks like Tim Conway. What? And I go, it is Tim Conway. I'm like, what do you do? And he would not acknowledge that that's who he was. He was like, I have no idea. I have no idea what you're talking. I think he was there to watch Steve Allen, right? Or not Steve Allen. It was
Steve and Edie, Steve Lawrence.
Yeah, Steve Lawrence.
Right. Yeah.
So he was there to watch him, but it was.
Oh, that's great.
Oh yeah, it was. He was totally in character, didn't break character, and some people didn't know. They're just like, what's with the doorman? I'm like, I have no idea. He's a familiar face, but I imagined him being shorter.
Yeah, he's that Skippy character was great when he played the old man with Harvey Korman. And Harvey's, mansion was on fire, and he had to break into the first story window to get into him. It was great. And if you ever go back and look at that sketch, none of that stuff was rehearsed. Where he had to give him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. He puts his arm under him, and he says to Harvey, "So, what time do you get off?" It really was a lot of fun. But my dad was also a big fan. He loved the impressions. And he always said to me, he goes, this guy is great because he doesn't rely on 5 impressions and then just calls it a career. You update him all the time. But there's a lot of guys that do impressions and they get 5 or 6 great ones and then they fall back on that and they don't do any more work. But every time I turn on YouTube, you got another one.
Yeah, I mean, I did get stuck for a while. I'll be honest with you. There was a time where I kind of gave up and but now, with all these Avengers movies and stuff like that, but people, it's interesting because you'll find people like I was doing a thing where I show people how some impressions are very similar. So if you did, you could start with Robert Downey Jr. Do me a favor, and here's the thing with Robert Downey Jr. If you did his cadence, it's 1, 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, but if you go like if you take Robert Downey Jr., you start to slow him down. He becomes Dr. Evil, and then if you do this and you add some airiness, it becomes Donald Trump. Quite frankly, there's a lot of people who say a tremendous amount of things, and throw me a frickin' bone here, please.
Have you met Trump?
Yeah, I did a sketch with him 10, 15, probably 15 years ago.
Oh, that's great.
It was like the jokes were, I decided to run for president. Now I've decided to not run for president. Now I've decided to not run for president. Now I'm not running for president.
That's well. And you're the only guy I know that does Norm Macdonald. Nobody else does him.
No, a lot of people do him. Norm just doesn't like anybody except for me. Because years ago, I kind of used to do Norm like.
Right.
Like everybody would do it, that, everybody do it like that, but, it's actually down a little deeper like this, You ever been to the thing about Norm Macdonald is this is the observation from him, because he's a brilliant writer.
Right.
Not everybody knows how brilliant he is in terms of writing, because his cadence and just being himself can carry it as well.
Sure.
But he'll make you laugh on words that are so normal, and you're like, why am I laughing? There's no joke here. It's just a word. So be like, you ever been to, Tim, you ever been to the grocery store? Why is that so funny? Why? It's the grocery store. Yeah, I was at I was over there at the grocery store. You ever been to aisle 5? Aisle 5 is one of those aisles. They got the toothpick on a hot dog. So hey, what are you doing? I'm spear fishing with processed meat. You ever do that?
He is great.
Oh, he's brilliant.
Every single comedian who you ask, even like Letterman and Leno and all those guys, when you press them on who's the funniest, outside of themselves, it's always Norm Macdonald doing stand up. But for some reason, he connects with all those guys
because he has no fear.
Yeah.
And he just does, and he will just go out there and he'll take everyday things that nobody else could make funny. But he sent out a tweet. He goes, usually impressionists are the most unfunny human beings in the world. But an exception is the great Frank Caliendo, who is the only guy on earth that I think does me. It's like, and then every comedian on earth was texting me and messaging me. Did you see what Norm said? Did you see what Norm said? That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
Great. Hey, hold on one sec. Frank Caliendo's with us. This is great, man. What a huge treat for me. And we'll continue with him.
With Highmark Blue Shield, you can see a mental health professional in 3 days or less to help you go from okay to great. Because what you have on the inside deserves to be seen. Because life. Highmark Blue Shield.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
Frank Caliendo's with us. FrankCaliendo.com, where the schedule is of his appearances coming up. Frank, when you play like the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, after the show's over, do you ever hit the tables?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I gotta go hide. I'm one of those, but I should tell people that I do, because then it's better advertising for them.
Right. I was in Vegas. My dad was playing at the Hilton in Vegas, and we were both there with he was with his wife, my stepmother, and I was with my wife. And we're just having, an afternoon snack. He was going to do the show that night. And like at 4 o'clock, he said, I'm going to go take a shower and, head to the dressing room. I said, all right, I'm going to go to the men's room. I'll see you down there at 6:30 or so. And about 3 minutes later, I look across the craps table from me, and it's my dad. We both BS'd our wives. and ended up at the same crab table.
That's awesome.
It was great, man. It's like father like son. We both also lie to our same doctor, right? But I love the like when you come out. I mean, first of all, when you do your show, it never stops. I don't know how you do it, but it seems like you never repeat an impression, and it all is funny, and the audience absolutely loves it.
Yeah, I end up talking to myself. That's the thing that's different about me is I end up creating what I do is I set up how the person thinks in my mind. So like a person like Al Pacino, he's an actor, right? So in acting, they teach you to be curious because you know what the next line is, but you have to be curious so you don't really know what the next line is, but be curious of what the person's going to say and then have the feeling that you've never heard it before. And Pacino does that so amazingly that, you could turn on a light switch and he'd be amazed by that, be like,
whoa, wait a second. You mean you flip a switch over there and a light goes on over here? This is sorcery. How does it get done? I don't get it.
So, yeah, it's like, what's the point? Who is the person? Or the formula of the person. Another one is like Jeff Goldblum. I've done this forever. Like, he'll commit to something 100% and then do a complete 180. Like, what's your favorite food? I like hot dogs. I do. They're very good. I like hot dogs, mystery ketchup, rolls, all kinds of things. Chili dogs are good. Cheesy dogs are better. Wait a second. I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat meat. No. And Goldblum's one of those guys that he doesn't use there's like not really any silence. He fills it with a sound. So a lot of people would pause, or like his pauses are in the middle in between words. I'm filling it with jazz. I'm a scatter. Not scatterbrained. I'm a jazz scat guy. Ooh.
Hey, do you ever back 20 years ago? You can do things, and the cancel culture, the mob wouldn't be after you. But do you now have to watch what you say sometimes on stage?
Yeah, because I haven't been on as much. I mean, I always worry about that stuff because I'm somebody who's kind of for everybody,
right?
But I'm finding that it's a weird thing where I don't know. I don't want to be labeled anything either. That's the difficult thing. I don't want to be put in a box because I'm kind of a middle of the road person, and nowadays that's weird to people. Like, oh my gosh, you're in the center. You're evil. No, I'm just saying I can see different sides of things.
Right.
You can't see different sides, and that's your problem.
No, you got to be on one team or the other.
I remember talking to Dane. It was Dane Cook and Harlan Williams in Montreal, and I don't remember why I remember. Probably because Harlan Williams was there. Hey, buddy, won't you kind of get around to a Harlan Williams impression, my friend? But I don't remember who said it, and that's why I set up. It was like 3 different comedians, but it was that Don Rickles would just breathe out on the punchline. It didn't matter what he was saying. He'd be like, "Hey there, you baseball bat." And it'd be like, what's he actually? Is there anything that's because he would say things certain times? You're like, is that even? I don't know. Is that something you're not supposed to say? Because it's Don Rickles, like PC Don Rickles, is like hey there, generic guy who what?
That's great. That is awesome. Well, buddy, I really enjoyed you coming on, and thanks for the I guess we met you through social media here. But
well, I was on one of your shows years and years ago. You don't remember?
Oh, right,
that?
yeah, KLSX, right? Yeah,
I was on there because I was like, I remember because you got on me, you were ripping me. It was fun and in fun, kind of. That's what you said. But I was like, I'm not really good at improv, and you're like, well, that's kind of what we're going to be doing for the next 20 minutes. I'm like, yeah, I can improv with myself, but I'm not good at the form of improv like a Groundlings or something like that. And you're just like, yeah, well, then that's not going to go so well.
That's great. I think for the first, 6 years I was doing this, I was so high. I was high as a kite. I don't remember anything or anybody that actually walked through the door.
I had fun. It was fun.
Buddy, look.
Much better than this.
Right. Anytime, you're in town, please, we'll do nothing but talk about the show. Buddy, Frank, I really appreciate coming on. Anytime you got an open invitation, anytime you're in town, we'll just give you more publicity than you could imagine.
Awesome. See you tomorrow.
All right. Thanks. Okay. All right. Frank Caliendo. Go to the website, frankcaliendo.com. That's CALIENDO. The greatest impressionist in the world. Man, that is awesome.
That's one of those guys that I have if I wished I could have done something like with my voice, because I love doing voices of people.
Right.
That's the type of stuff that I would have loved to have had.
Yeah, but you should. You could still do it. I mean, you're young.
I wouldn't. My whole issue has been like I don't even know where to begin, who to go to, and yeah. You know what's funny, because he talked about it, he touched on it a little bit. I know you got a break. He talked about how sometimes you do impressions of people and they don't get, that it's not meant to be mean or denigrating in any way. It truly is. When I feel like I can touch on somebody's voice or some little mannerism that they have, to me it's a high compliment.
It's great.
Yeah, it's an honor for me to do somebody's voice, because I only do unique voices, aspects of people's.
All right, Frank Caliano, that was awesome. Thanks, Bellio. Giant stud. You get the little microphone on your helmet for tonight. Yeah.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
Do you know David Spade? Are you friends with him?
I'm not friends with him. I've met him before. I mean, years ago. He and Kevin Farley stopped by a show when I was on TBS. They were coming by when we were
that's cool.
taping something. Yeah, but
I mean, with Spade, I mean, very rarely do comedians get funnier as they get older. I can't think of any, right? But he's one of those guys that, like, in the last 5 or 6 years, has gotten funnier than he was when he was younger.
Yeah, I think sometimes you just get used to him, and we as audience members change too. You evolve as an audience member and watch how people do things. And again, sometimes people just they get more and more fearless, and that's like what we were talking about before with Norm Macdonald. People enjoy that type of stuff, and it's refreshing, and you don't see it that much.
Yeah, and Norm Macdonald, the whole thing he did with, he was told to back off the O.J. Simpson jokes, and then he turned it up to 100.
Yeah. Because you know what O.J. did there, right? Yeah. You ever see that? Then he wrote a book. What I would have done. Right. Yeah, that's a good idea. Right. Hey, he also read another book. I've got a knife and I'm bored.
Right. He's unbelievable. Hey, now listen, when you go to do these shows, I'm sure that people are yelling out all the time. Like, we even had some guy text us just now saying, "You're Brett Favre." First of all, nobody else does Brett Favre. And he said, if Frank does Brett Favre on your show, he's going to eat his own S.
I don't do a Brett Favre. It's just Madden that used to talk about Brett Favre. I love Brett Favre. Brett Favre. And one time I did that with Brett Favre standing next to me. I'm just going, Brett Favre, Brett Favre, Brett Favre, Brett Favre, Brett Favre, Brett Favre. And I moved the camera over to him, and he's just going, oh, no, not more of this.
Hey, you must have been young when you were on Mad TV, huh?
Probably 25. Oh, man, let's see. I'm 47 now, probably in my mid-20s, something like that.
What was the big break for you?
In terms of my career is always like little things that happened. I went to LA. When I first went to LA, I got offered a bunch of development deals because I would do like 50 impressions in 2 minutes, and I was doing odd ones like Craig Kilborn, like Kelby. Oh yeah, you gotta love me. And Tony Deeds. I was doing weird things like that they're like, who is this guy? So then I got a show for the WB. Your show's not going well. The whole night it was called Hype, was the name of the show. And it was, the first 2 weeks were Hype Night on the WB.
Oh, that's
3 weeks later, the WB Sunday. You're getting canceled.
Right.
So we did that. I did that. Then I went over to Mad TV. They put me on that for a while. And that's when I got the NFL on Fox stuff. And I really that's why I just started concentrating on the sports stuff, because I was making so much money doing it. And the thing about analysts and sports people is, what do? They break down sports, and you just take that fish out of water,
right,
and have them break things down in real life, and all of a sudden it's
great.
That's where the comedy comes from.
Hey, did Lorne Michaels ever call you? I'm sure you would have been perfect.
I went, when I first went to LA, there was a tent, like a president of NBC who was only there for like a month or something. He's like, do you want us to put you on Saturday Night Live? I was like, it'd be an option. And then my manager, after we left the manager at the time, after we left the meeting, was like, why did you say it would only be an option? I'm like, because you told me never to show my cards. He's like, yeah, but I've never seen anybody do that. But I would always make people, because I would go into meetings, but I would go into meetings with like executives, and I would just be myself. I wouldn't pander, and I wouldn't just try and put on a pretend professional. I'd just be myself.
Right.
And it was 50-50. Sometimes it would just crush in the room, and people are like, oh, my God, I can't believe he talks to people like this. And then the other half of the time, I was like, what a jerk. This guy will never work in Hollywood again. He's not telling us how great we are.
Right.
So,
but the guys that find it refreshing are always the guys on top of the chain. You know?
Yeah, but everybody's always telling them yes. Everybody's
Right.
they always have yes men, and and there were casting directors that would do that. They were like, I can't believe you're being such an ass right now. And I'm like, yeah, well, this is just who you get. It's what I am.
Right.
I can't put on because I just don't want to pretend. And they're like, this is so refreshing. We're never going to use you, but this is so wonderful just to hear. Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
All right, Frank
gonna hire
Caliendo's with us now. What you have kids?
Yeah, I've got a 14-year-old daughter and 16-year-old son.
Oh, that is great, man.
Yeah.
Do they do impressions, or they
can.
they try and impress you?
Yeah, they're not to impress me. They couldn't care less about me, but they can both do them. My son's really good. He does a Groot, and his voice got deeper than mine. And the last year, all of a sudden he starts going, I'll tell you what, man. I'm like, where did that come from? That's Groot and Barry White. And my daughter can do them too, but I don't know. They don't. I was the same way. I didn't want to be in entertainment at all. I had no interest in it because I wasn't looking. I wasn't really looking for attention. And then, I found I could make money from it, so I started doing it. That's part of my problem.
Where'd you meet your wife? How'd you meet her? Was it like high school?
She was in the front row of. She was in the front row of the Improv in Cleveland.
Oh, that's great.
Not laughing at anything I did.
Right. That's for me. Right.
Embarrassed for me is what she was. That's what she's like. I was embarrassed to watch it. I'm like, and she still complains. I'm like, how much was the ticket? $12. It was overpriced. And I'm like, and then we have 3 houses now. We have 3 homes. I'm like, that's a pretty good $12 investment. You don't currently have a job.
That's awesome.
The Amazon guy knows your name. We're fine. You're doing well.
That's awesome. Yeah, but you really can't. Oh, we got to take a break. Can you stay with us?
Yeah, I'm here for like 5 hours.
Excellent. All right, Frank Caliendo's with us. We'll be right back with more.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
All right, this is not an advertiser. I was just at a buddy's house today in Burbank, and he's a big guy, and they're all about being big in this family. So I'm not overstepping. I'm not insulting them. They live in a house called the Big House, right? He's big, his wife's big, his kids are big, everyone's big, right? They got a big car, they got big furniture, and they're just the bigs. And they're just enjoying it, for now, right? Later on in life, who knows, what happens. But I smelled his wife was cooking something in the kitchen. It really smelled good, right? I'm like, hey, what's your wife cooking? And he walks in there and he opens up this thing and he says, these sausages. And I go, oh man, I love sausages.
Sausages?
Yeah, he said, want to stay for sausages? I'm like, yeah, I'll stay for sausages, right? So I looked at this thing that they're cooking on. It looks like a Foreman grill. I go, is that a Foreman? He says, no, that's our sausage griller. I'm like, what should we talking? Wait a minute, hold on a second, wait.
Sausage griller?
I said, you have a special piece of equipment?
Michelle talks about that. She's got one.
The sausage? Really?
Yeah.
And I've never seen it before. But I guess Johnsonville or whoever makes this sausage makes this equipment. And, man, I really appreciate the fact that you're going for it in life when you have a special piece of equipment that knocks sausages out.
She posts a picture of it all the time.
It's great.
Yeah. I want to get one. I love them.
The reason why I don't cook sausage all the time is because they burn. You can't evenly cook them. They're burn on one side, then you flip them around. And they're not trained, right? They'll flip right back to the burn side, right? And then you try to hold them in the middle. And you spend all day trying to perfect this sausage. You finally just say, screw it. But this thing, and again, this is not a commercial. We're not plugging away here. This is a piece of sausage equipment, right? Let's crank up the computer here, breastplate, bub.
There's nothing better than delicious Johnsonville sausages and brats.
Yeah.
And the Johnsonville Sausage Grill just made them even better. Just open it up, load it up, and eat it up.
You can cook she was cooking 14 sausages at a time, right? And it cooks them like the Foreman grill, but the place where you put the sausages, it's encased 100% inside. So, that when you put the top down, the entire sausage cooks on the top and the bottom.
Wow.
And man, it was so crisp on the outside.
And it's got a drip pan in the front.
Exactly.
To catch all the
that's
grease.
right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, man.
And it's got a drip pan. It's got it's crisp on the outside and really juicy on the inside. And I've never, been a guy for, getting special equipment to cook stuff, but I went home and ordered one of these things.
Did you really?
Yeah. I got a sausage maker coming. It's great.
How much do they go for?
I think it was $49 or something like that. It was with shipping and handling. I remember what it was. It was it was 2 payments of $49. So what is that? 100? I think it was a total of $109 or something like that. And I didn't give a rat's ass, man. I was gonna. I could have been $700, and I would have been hook me up.
All good things happen when a conversation starts with "You want to stay for sausages?" Yeah.
That's right. And man, I know a lot of people listening right now. You love those Sunday morning sausages. Belly, I bet you knock out breakfast on a Sunday, right?
Yeah.
You kick. What do you cook? Bacon and eggs and toast and all that stuff.
Bacon.
And the whole house smells like it.
Oh yeah.
It only takes minutes, and you'll always have a delicious, crispy on the outside, juicy on the inside masterpiece.
Oh man, that is. I'll tell you how to get there for people that want to buy one of these things like I did. It's called, what was the website? Grill Sausage or sausagegrill.com. Anyway, you'll find it. It's the Sausage Grill. And it really is one of the highlights of my year that I found this piece of equipment just by being over at my dumb buddy's house. Conway Show on demand on the iHeartRadio app. Now, you can always hear us live on KFI AM 640, 4 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and anytime on demand on the iHeartRadio app.